Boy, look, I also say this morning, no Polly's on this morning or anything because I think we all needed a break. There's been so much going on. But one of the most bizarre stories unfolding at the moment is the Green, Darleen Tana's first expulsion from the Greens, and now the huge pickle that everyone seems to be in about how to get her out of Parliament, given that she was a list MP, got no real constituency. There's the question, is she a them, they, it? And now the courts are involved. There was to be a court hearing yesterday where Ms. Tana was going to, or them, they, but she hasn't told me that, so she's obviously a Sheila, we call her here. Darleen Tana was going to seek an injunction to stop the Green Party having a special meeting to decide whether to invoke the Waka jumping legislation, which would lead to her expulsion from Parliament. This whole thing has got very, very weird. So what is going on? And here's my question, does it matter? I thought I'd ask Bryce Edwards, a political lecturer at Victoria University and head of the Democracy Project. Bryce, this one's weird, isn't it?
Sorry, Sean, you're talking to me.
Yeah, I missed that. This one's weird, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah. And there's some interesting speculation going around about all of this at the moment because it's quite hard to work out what exactly is happening behind the scenes about, how this deal was being done, what's behind it all.
Well, is there a deal? Why did the Green Party have to do a deal?
Well, they've done a deal. It's, they've had to face either court action and they decided to pragmatically pull back and cancel their meeting. And why they did that is a good question. One of the pieces of speculation flying around is that they suddenly realised that Tana was going to play rather dirty and that she had a lot of dirt that she was going to drop in that.
Now, is that speculation or do we have evidence of that speculation, if you know what
evidence.
I mean?
Okay. No evidence.
But look, the question here, I looked and thought, how can a court tell a group of people not to have a meeting? How on earth can that be? How can they tell a political party? I do not want the courts exercising that power. I don't think she would have been, or it horrifies to me to think her application for an injunction would have been successful.
Yeah, look, that's a good question, and the role of political parties in law is a kind of iffy one. And you're right, they're a civil organisation, and the role of the state being able to direct what they can and can't do is kind of a fundamental one, isn't it? But of course, the meeting was to determine who runs this country in the sense of who's in Parliament. So I doubt it would have. I doubt that court case injunction would have happened. Would have been given to Tana. I don't think she really had a leg to stand on, and that's why the speculation about her playing dirty may have been the bigger reason that the Greens agreed to that delay.
All right, Bryce. Here's another question, though. And, I do try and look at these things objectively, and I haven't got any skin in the game as far as the Green Party goes. Maybe Darleen Tana's got a point. Maybe her expulsion from the party, she was never convicted of any crime. Maybe her expulsion from the party was unfair.
Yes, I mean, I agree with you, basically. You do have to look at this objectively and forget about whether we like her or not and think she's done bad things or not. Has she had a fair trial? She had an independent report that was funded by the Greens and the taxpayer that found that she was likely to have been involved in these things, but it wasn't really quite the smoking gun.
It wasn't cut and dry, was it? Yeah.
It wasn't really cut and dry, no. And Tana themselves disputes that they had a fair hearing in that investigation.
Bryce, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Look, she's clearly a singular female.
Oh, look, I don't know. I tend to go with
you must know why you say that.
Because they have put out...
she has. I gotcha.
Look,
Has
I
she
don't wanna
asked
get
you
into that.
personally, why should you compromise your understanding of grammar because someone's being a bit woke?
Look, it's becoming accepted, isn't it, in the media
No.
sphere that...
Not in this media
that
sphere.
people, well, yeah,
But
I
let's
don't-
move on. I'm sorry, Bryce. I just it was no. But you did. I do know you did say she said that she wanted to be called they.
Well, I mean, I've followed her for...
You did it again. You called her. You should have used them.
No, hear me out. I followed her for a number of years in politics. She's always identified as a woman as far as I've known, and so it's a hard habit to break if you're suddenly told that they're no longer identifying as a woman, to suddenly change what you call this
She
person.
still is, and Bryce, just quietly, she still is a woman. Okay, but let's put that aside. So where are we at now? You said earlier on a secret deal has been done, and I don't like this. I don't like when the membership of Parliament is at issue, or someone's president of Parliament, that someone's having a secret meeting. I just feel bad about whether that was the Greens or anyone. So there have been non-transparent, behind closed doors negotiations, you think?
Look, here's the thing. They are welcome to have secret meetings and do what they want. It's their own affairs. But I do think the public starts to get suspicious of those things, and they lose confidence in such murky deals, and the public will be quite rightly asking, well, what the hell's going on here? And, it starts to look like the Greens are just obsessed with their own sort of internal affairs, and they're no longer focused on the climate and all the environmental things they say they're there for. Instead, it's all about power and...
their ratings will still go up, Bryce. They're like the inverse world of popularity.
Yeah, well, they dropped 2 points in the latest poll.
Yeah, that's true.
So who knows? But I do think that the public often get very put off any political party that seem to be infighting and focused on their own navel-gazing. And I think there is a case that the Greens should have just wiped their hands of this back a few months ago and said, well, this MP is no longer with us, and we're just going to carry on doing with what we are going to.
Yeah, and that was the thing because of their opposition to the Wakajuking bill. The problem,
that's
Bryce,
right, they should have stuck with that.
Yeah, Bryce. The problem now is if they don't invoke it and she stays in Parliament, everyone's going to want to know what the deal was and what she had on them. It doesn't go away, you see.
Oh, look, I totally agree. It's nuts, and they should never have gone down this route. And they've created this mess for themselves. And I think there'll be lots of questions about Tana's side as well, though, if she does carry on, if she succeeds, and she might well in staying in Parliament. I mean, who's been paying for all of this legal?
I presumed us. I just presumed Mr. and Mrs. or they taxpayer got it in the net.
No, I mean, you're right to be suspicious about that, because so often politicians are able to tap their parliamentary budgets for these things, but not in this case, I don't believe.
Okay.